from San Antonio, Texas, and we are going to be talking about teaching research. Now, later on, this is a series of webinars, and so some of them I'm going to give them later about teaching research. So this time we'll only talk about note-taking tools and tips for taking notes. So this will be very useful for conferences because a lot of this is what I use for conferences. I went to a lot of conferences recently, and so I'm always looking for the best tool to take notes and to collect slides and really pay attention to the presenter and not have to fool around so much with the note-taking task. So I'm going to share with you the tools and the tips that I think is very, very useful. But as well, I think it's a very good skill for language learners and students in general. A lot of our students, unfortunately, they're going to be in lectures and for the majority of their education, so it's good that they learn. Note-taking is a skill. They have to use their ears a lot. They really have to listen. They also have to be able to take what they hear right away and they have to put it on paper and summarize, and that's a very tedious task, especially for English language learners. So later on we'll also talk about teaching research specifically to kids, and then we'll also talk about higher ed and adults. So today is kind of a mixture of everything. So you can use this with kids, young learners, probably around 8, I think. It is pretty okay for note-taking. And this can also be, for example, notes that they take while researching for a project as well. Now, for adults and other learners, it could be for lectures, and then it can also be research as well. So what is research? Well, it's good that we had an earlier American TESOL webinar about, I think, 2 years ago, because this has now been over 100 webinars. So we have lots of resources collected and lots of webinars we've been doing. Over 100. So last time we kind of did a run through about it, and you can look for that particular one. It'll be in the Pearl Trees link that I share with you at the end of this. Don't forget, you can also get a certificate that you attended today, so I'll tell you all about that when we're finished. So what is research? Well, according to Wikipedia, and I like a lot of these definitions, it's systematic investigation. So a lot of times our students think it's boring, and they're like, oh, teacher, we have to do research for a project, or we have to do research to write a paper. But it's actually quite, they get to be in like detectives in a way. You can present it like that. They get to be investigators. They get to search for new problems, solve new or existing problems, prove new ideas. So in research, we experiment a lot. Not only do we get all of this information, but we also get to experiment with that information. This is new ideas coming in. So while they're learning, it's good that we show students a way to involve themselves, to engage themselves with what they are learning. It's not just about reading or what they listen to, but actually getting our students, which is very difficult, motivating them to take that knowledge and then to make it something else, to prove a new idea. A harnessing of curiosity and developing new theories. So how do we engage? How do we make research fun? Well, these are some of the things your students will have to do, whether they're very young or they're much older, like up to 80 years old or something. We're always learning. Yeah, Lisa, I'm a research addict too. So you want to analyze, gather resources. They're going to end up bookmarking, taking notes, they explore, they cite, they read, they scan, they classify, they question, they summarize, evaluate, draw conclusions. They do so much more than this. This is just kind of like a little small thing of what they do. And so we're going to just talk about the first part, which was note-taking. Now, research has evolved with all of these tools, and it's very, very, very exciting because the tools make it so much easier, because research in the past had one major problem. Okay, so and even note-taking. So do you remember when you used to have your books and you used to have the little sticky notes? I still use sticky notes. It's hard to break bad habits. But there's a few problems with this kind of note taking. So you have your book, and then your students, you want them to go and put the sticky notes, which is still a very good idea. It's still, if you don't have any technology around, give them Post-it notes and allow them to just stick ideas on the book. Because just the act for a lot of learners of writing down an idea and putting it in the book will store it in long-term memory. So it's definitely something you want to do. So I'm going to ask you, what are a few problems with note taking in the past? What's the problem with note taking like this that technology can solve? You can write it in the chat box. We have a good crowd today. Stickies get lost. Exactly. They can fall, they get lost. So that's one problem. There's another problem too. So they get lost. And there's one problem that kind of is with all research in general. It takes some space, yes. That's actually another big problem as well. This is actually, you forget about them, exactly, Sandra. So even though you may put them, if you try, what are you going to do with all these stickies? Do you remember where they're at? Do you have a system? That's the problem. Sometimes I remember I used to do color coordinated as well. Yeah, Lisa, it's hard to create a sticky note where tech can allow us to. And you'll see tech that's kind of taken this idea of sticky notes. You have sticky note tools and apps. So all of those things that you suggested were problems with research in the past and problems with taking notes specifically. But another problem, the most major problem of it all, is it's very time consuming. And that's something as teachers and students we don't have. We don't have time. So one of the reasons why, the major reasons for us to start using these tech tools and apps and show our students is because we can save them time, and we can save time in our lessons, but we can have that time and show them how to do effective research with web tools, online tools, and apps. So with digital tools now, you can curate. These are some terms associated with these digital tools and apps, which is curation, aggregation. You curate, you aggregate, you highlight, you bookmark, you annotate, and you do so much more. So I'm going to show you a few just related to note-taking today, but there are a few more that we'll do a later one on bookmarking, curation. We'll do another webinar on where to find websites to find authentic materials, to do research, where kids can have fun and also learn a lot and do research. They research databases, journals. So this is research now. This is how I do my research. This is me actually taking a course with Bernie Wall, R-L-I Bernie, on Twitter. And so she's presenting the information here, and this is me. I'm taking notes. I'm tweeting it. I have my phone because if I need to take pictures, screenshots of this. So the problem with note-taking in digital tools is you have to figure a way to get this, and then what she's telling me, because she's explaining stuff, and transform it to here and here. Now, there are certain things we can do. I mean, I can always take pictures of slides, and that's something that I do. I take my phone, and then I'll take a picture of slides and things like that. But the problem is organizing it. Kanza and Lisa and some other people said, and Ella said, organizing it, because I've got to go back to it, and I've got to remember why I wrote that down and why I marked that. Here I can record the voice. There are apps to where I can just record the audio, but I need to be able to take notes with all of that. So using kind of all of these different tools, yeah, I can use the recording tool, yeah, I can use the picture taking, yeah, I can type, but at the same time, I need to make sure that I want to do more than that. I want to take a picture, I want to type, and I want to be able to also record audio, and I want to take notes of all of those sections and curate them and organize them and follow them all at once. So I'm going to show you some great web tools, mobile apps, software, and browser extensions or browser apps that you can use. And then you can show your students, and you can decide which of these technologies works best for you. So the thing about web tools is some of them are online tool sites, okay, and you can use them, and we'll show them. And a lot of times, these web tools, the great thing is about Research web tools is they usually make them into free mobile apps, so they can sync up, and it's really great because when I use something here, an app here, and it's on my computer as well, then when it all connects online, it all syncs up together. It's so beautiful. So whatever I took here, if I use the same program as I do on my computer, so whatever I use here and here, all together, it's beautiful harmony syncs up. I don't have to go back to my computer and do this. It's, in a lot of cases, it's software too. What do I mean by software? Software is when you have to download it and then it works offline. So a lot of these are web based. They're also mobile apps, but they also make it to where you can download it and it can be software on your computer. And a lot of times they have browser extensions. And the browser extension is like if you go to Chrome and if you go to Firefox, you'll see at the if you include an app or an extension, what it means is that you can go and you can click a bookmarklet and you can easily tag things and curate them while you navigate the web. So we're going to look at a few of these. So here's one of the major ones, which is Google Drive. I love Google Drive. And Google Drive is it works on all of those levels. Google Drive is something that you could just use online. It's also software that you download, so you can use this all offline. I have used Google Drive, taken notes and stuff while on a plane, not connected to the internet. And as soon as I get to an internet connection, as soon as my computer does, it syncs it all together. So it's really cool. You can do collaborative note taking. A lot of times when I plan virtual conferences and things like that, I use Google Drive, Google Docs for everything. So it used to be called Google Docs, but now it's Google Drive. It's also a mobile app. It's a mobile app on my Android and then also on my iOS devices, my iPod, my iPad. So there's lots of things you can do with it. You can even make presentations. You can see where you can have the chat here. This is very, very useful. We're planning the virtual roundtable conference, and that's something I definitely recommend that you attend. And this is a free online conference, by the way, that I help organize with Heike Phil. So we're going to have a lot of free presentations. It's May the 16th to 17th, so I put the link in there. But this is how we do it. Now this is actually a handout for one of my students. I did this for students I was teaching in Slovenia. So they had to write their group name, and they filled all of this in. So when they were doing that, they could chat with each other. So they could do it on different computers, and then they could fill it in, and they could leave things. You can leave comments all over the document, and they don't show up on there. So you can do edits, and it'll show you edits in the past. It's really great. Well, one of the websites that is connected with this is Video Notes. And now you probably haven't heard of Video Notes, but it's really cool. So one of the things that Google Drive has done is they have something called Google Plus. Now you don't have to be in Google Plus, but you can watch a video, any YouTube video. So a lot of times we like to inspire students with TED Talks and different kinds of short little video clips. Well, with Video Notes, it's a free service, and what you can do is it gives you two screens. It breaks your screen into two. It has the YouTube note, and then on the right, it has the document. So it has where you can go and you can write the notes while you're watching the YouTube video. So this is a good task to give your students instead of just having them watch a video. So if you have to where they can, they do have their laptop, they brought it in, and you're showing a TED Talk, then you can go and then you can have them come and they can go ahead and they can do that. Now all of these, you don't have to worry about taking them necessarily, because you are going to find all of these on my Pearl Tree, so you don't have to necessarily bookmark now. Let me go ahead and give you the link to that so you'll have it. But if you go to the bit.ly address, you'll find it there as well. So let me go ahead and put that in the chat box. So you'll find all the links there today. You can also do this a different way. So a lot of times you can get your students to do kind of a group, and let's say that you don't have, they're sharing computers, or perhaps they have their mobile devices. So let's say a lot of times I work where I have them have, okay, Jake says that they have subtitles and changing video speed on video notes as well. So thank you. I didn't realize that. So that's another even great quality for language learners, especially because a lot of times they need to slow things down to be able to understand it. So a lot of times your students may have a mobile device as well as a laptop that they bring in. Well, at least my students do. We've always worked like that. We've never had a one-to-one program or anything like that. So I like to use Linolt. I think Linolt is absolutely wonderful. This is sticky notes online, so it works on any device, Apple devices, Android devices, and what it is you can add text in a sticky note. You can add the actual link to what you're showing, like maybe if you're showing a video, or if you have a document, you can even upload the document and they can have it access there. They don't have to register, so that's a really good part of it. So for a lot of these sites you have to register, like but let's say that you have an activity and you just want to have them go, and you want them to take notes, and you want it to be interactive, and you want it to be there for them. So I like to use Linolt a lot. Linolt, I just give them the Linolt address, and then they go, and then they can just click on the screen, and then they add a sticky note. Padlet, it used to be Wall Wisher. It works on your mobile device and stuff as well. Thing is that it has kinks, so it's beautiful. It's a beautiful interface and everything like that. But Linolt has less problems. Technically, I think it's just a better built platform. It can handle more than one student on there. It doesn't take forever. And the one thing about sticky note sites is you want, when you're taking notes, you don't want your students to have to wait for Bobby to finish or something. So anyone can go at the same time and do it. You can have different templates, you can add different backgrounds, so it's really nice. One of the best tools by far for note-taking that all teachers should use, it really helps me with my conference notes, but also for all students to learn about, is Evernote. Evernote has, the company has created so many apps with Evernote and web tools, and they all magically come together and are just wonderful for note-taking. So Evernote you can use as on your browser. You can use it as software to download, so it works offline. You can also use it on a mobile device. You can use it on Android. You can use it on Apple devices. So it works everywhere, anywhere, even offline, and it does very cool things. It organizes your notes into folders. You can go and you can name them later. It organizes your pictures, your videos, so it puts it all together, your videos, your websites, your notes, everything, okay? And then when you take pictures, it scans the text in pictures. So if you have, you can actually search through the pictures if it has text. So if your students are running behind, they can click on, they can take a picture of whatever you wrote on the board or slide. And sometimes it doesn't do it so well. I'm still working on it. You can organize, all your students can organize this on a website for free if they join platfolio.com. It turns their Evernote notes into a website. So it's cool because it's like a research hub. They can go back and they can review the research. They can see it the day. This is a good thing to put it on the website all at once, because then they see the timestamp. They see the day and the time that they took all of these notes. And sometimes when we're taking notes, you can just get so lost in it. One of the sweets, okay, so Evernote does a lot of things, and it has a lot of mobile apps. So it works on your mobile device as well, and it works offline. So once you download it on an internet connection, if you or students have mobile devices, they don't need an internet connection necessarily in class, because a lot of times if they're registered already, it'll just kind of store it for them. So I'm going to show you my favorite Evernote app. There's tons of Evernote apps out there that sync with Evernote. And what I mean is, So when they first made Evernote, they didn't put all the great stuff in it. It's great the way it is. So these are kind of add-ons. And so when you use these other apps with Evernote, Evernote takes whatever you used in that app and it syncs it with the rest of your notes. It categorizes it, it puts it by date. So I'm going to show you my favorite, which is Penultimate. This is what I use at all the conferences. I've shown it before, I think. It's Penultimate. Right now it's only for iPad, but they are doing one. Thank you, Ella. You can write with it, and it scans your writing, so you can choose different paper. This is graph paper, or it also has regular line paper, plain paper. If you want for an added fee, you can buy pretty paper. I don't. So basically, I just write with my finger, and whatever I write, Evernote reads it. Of course, you have to have good illegible handwriting, and that's how I take my notes at conferences and stuff. It organizes it by day. You can see all my handwritten notes right there. It's so you can take pictures, and then so I took pictures of the slides, and then here I put little notes of what this slide meant. So yeah, no, Faisal, I don't know if it is. Yeah, no, it should be on the iPhone. It should be on the iPhone. It may not be in the I think it's on the iPhone 5 though. It's on later versions. But the great thing is you can take pictures. You can add clips on it. It's really incredible. There's other things you can do with it as well. Oh, why didn't it go there? Ah, I'm missing one. Oh, well, we'll go back to that then. So I can tell you about the rest of the cool things. But it reads your handwriting and it'll search for it as well. So that's one of the really cool things about Penultimate. And it's free, so it's really great. Yeah, I think it has to be on the iPhone 5. You can collect autographs with it, and I did collect an autograph with it. So I think the searching feature on your handwriting, it's a little tricky. It's better if you have like a pen, but I only write with my finger. I don't have one of those cool stylus pens. I'll have to make one for myself eventually. There's also Skitch. That's part of Evernote as well. Skitch is great for students researching because you can take a photo of anything, or you can choose a photo that you took. You can draw on a map. So if you need to draw directions on a map, or let's say they're doing field research, then they can include a map. They can start with something black, or they can capture from the web. Capture from the web is my favorite because it takes a picture of any blog or website or anything on your computer that you have. You can take a screenshot of, and then you create notes with it. You can highlight, you can write with pen, you can mark it up. See here I put presentation and I put an arrow, but you can make it more in depth. So here's some other things. Here is an app that I was using, and so I circled a part and I put an arrow. You can brainstorm for a presentation or a lesson plan. Students can create backup research notes for an essay or project. So if they're reading a book, for example, and you have them with the book, and they have to mark down like certain quotes and phrases and things like that, then they can actually take pictures of their book, the page, so they have it there. It's really simple, and then they can write all over that. They don't have to worry about, they can get involved that way. And the great thing is when students do it with a mobile device, when you tell them, okay, take out your book, because a lot of times you have to read paper books. It's an ebook even better because you just take a screenshot and you write all over that thing. But you can't really write over your books because I don't like to write all over mine. I find it, I want to go back and I want to read it for fun, and all the highlighting and stuff is just not very good. So I'll take a picture of the book itself, the page, and then I'll write all over it with of course Skitch, so that makes it better. Quicklyst. I actually interviewed Shantala. I think it's Shantala Bala. He was a college student, and he created this wonderful website and it's so intuitive because it syncs on everything. Your iPad, iPhone, you can use it online. You take notes, and when you take notes, it has different features for it. You can share with somebody else. A lot of times, like with formulas and stuff, they're taking math notes. It'll come up with it. So it's intuitive. It'll come up with it. With any of the words, you can, I think, right-click it, and it'll have a dictionary that searches for that word, or you can choose Wikipedia and find out more information about that word. You can categorize things and stuff like that. So this was made by a college student, and so it's a really great type of note-taking um, a tool that's online. But it also works if you just go to Quicklyst. It also works on your mobile devices. Idea Skitch. So if you want to get your students to take notes, but you want it to be in, this works on all devices. It can be a mind map. Same thing with Padlet. Padlet, they can even add like pictures. They can add YouTube videos. They can upload pictures from within it. My other favorite app, and you'll see this when I talk about it in bookmarking and curation research tools, is Diigo. Diigo is my other favorite one, like Evernote. Evernote has all these suite apps, but Diigo does a lot of things as well. You can highlight, you can screen capture, you can read others' notes, you can follow others, you can sync on all devices. I use Diigo every day. I love it. It carries my bookmarks wherever I am, and I log into a computer. I have my Diigo. I have a bookmarklet for it as well. So what that means is that this is what my bookmarklet is like. I just click a little D sign. This little D is on the top of my screen, on the right side of my screen on my Chrome. And then it comes up with all these options. I can tag something. I can read it later. I can take a screenshot of the page. I can annotate it. So that what it means is that I can highlight text on any blog or website or anything. It's a Chrome extension. It's also a Chrome app. It's also a Firefox one as well, and Safari, I believe. But it's also a website. You can go to diigo.com, create an account, and you can just use it from there. I like it better with a bookmarklet. A bookmarklet always saves you time. So if you don't know what a bookmarklet is, you should really familiarize yourself with it, because bookmarklets just are really fantastic. You can go to your library. I have literally thousands. You can take somebody else's notes, actually, if you want. You can follow people and then get their notes as well. So when you highlight the website, you get to choose what highlighting you want: yellow, blue, green, bar. So the great thing is, because anytime you go visit that website, you're going to see your Diigo notes on it. You're going to see these little, you can add sticky notes. And then you can share it with a bunch of groups that you can belong to. So I belong to these different groups here, and so I'll make a note, and then they can read my notes. The groups that I belong to can read my notes. So there are other Google Chrome extensions. So an extension or a bookmarklet is something within your browser. So you have it for Firefox, you have it for Google Chrome. And what it does is basically it has a little icon. This is what the Diigo looks like. And it goes on the top of your screen. And anytime you click it, then you'll be able to do really cool things like this. This little box will pop up, and you can highlight, you can do all these cool things. So it saves you so much time, and it's stored on your cloud of bookmarks. Okay, so it does so much for you on the go. You can tweet from there. So a lot of times people say, well, how do you tweet so much, or how do you do this so much? How do you do everything at once? I do with bookmarklets and extensions and these kind of apps. So you have a sticky note one. There's so many of them out there. I didn't put all of them, and the reason why is because I there's so many. It's up to you what you want. Diigo does it all for me, so I stick with Diigo. That's who I keep it with. But some of you may want something like a sticky app where you can just tick stickies on a whole bunch of websites, or your students might find that very useful. So you can use, for example, with Firefox, they have MyStickies extension, and it does this. So you're annotating the page. You're online, and let's say you're exploring Google. You put all of these sticky notes, write notes about it. Nobody else sees it, just you. So don't worry about that, unless you want them to. In some cases, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up soon. There are so many cool note-taking tools out there. So yes, I love Penultimate. That's my favorite. But my other new favorite is Evernote. So these are the different ones: Note, Ledge, Light, all of that you'll be able to find on the Pearl Tree. But there's so many of them out there, and they do different things. So for example, I have a problem when I'm taking notes with a mobile device. I find it very difficult to type fast enough. So that's why I like Penultimate so much, because I have to be able to write my notes. And then I can take them that way. I'm still, I guess, a digital tourist. So I haven't, a lot of our students can type really fast and things as well. Yes, you can tweet from Digo. You can also add it on Facebook, I think, as well. It has a sharing annotation within the pop-up box. You can even email your site and notes. Okay, so when I'm doing this, that's why I like Penultimate. I need a tool that draws. It has to do everything. I also need an audio recorder for that reason. So I used to use AudioNote and DocWrite, and the reason why is because they're really great. And Supernote. These three, they record whoever's speaking. Supernote, I think you can go. These are all free, but the problem is that once you only get a short amount of time. That's why I don't really like Dragon Dictation too much. I've used it in the past, but it doesn't always read. Dragon Dictation is whatever it listens to, it automatically puts the words to, but you only get like a minute. So that's not very effective for me. So a lot of times, a lot of times you need things like Supernote or AudioNote, where it records the speaker, and then later you can go and you can type, or you can go back and you can do the typing. So Supernote is the best one by far of these, where it records, gives you options. It says lecture, presentation, things like that. So you click it. You can even have it set on a timer when it's supposed to start. So for your university students, they'll find this very good, because if they already know different types of things in the calendar, it syncs with your calendar. This is really cool. So your students put like certain lectures or dates, they have the syllabus and they put it on a calendar. It'll automatically upload all of that information for them. So that's really good. You click record here, and while it's recording, you can choose papers and stuff. They can type. So they type right here on their mobile device while they're listening to the lecture. So it's really good. They can add little highlights. They can add highlights to certain parts of the audio and make little notes of it, so that they can say, oh, this is where the teacher talked about, or the professor talked, or the lecturer or something talked about this or that, talked about chapter 1, now goes into test review. So you can add little notes within and bookmark within the audio, so that's very cool. If you've ever used a tool like SoundCloud, you know what that is, where you can comment in between the article, where you can leave notes and put different timestamps on it. So that's very useful for students when they go back. Evernote is one of my favorite. It's even better than Penultimate, but a little bit. I love it. Penultimate doesn't record audio, but Evernote does, and it lets you choose paper. You can do PDFs. You can email it. It's so wonderful. You add photo, video. You can erase. I think it's pretty much like unlimited audio. So you can take handwritten notes with Evernote while recording the lecture. So that's why I love it, because you can't really do that with Penultimate. It doesn't have where you can like record at the same time, and then so it has that kind of recording feature, so that's why. And it's wonderful. You can take pictures, you can choose different types of paper as well. Well, you can find all of these apps and everything like that, the ones that are my favorite at least, if you go to the Pearl Trees link. So there's 2 Pearl Trees. That one will take you to Note-Taking, and the last one, I'm putting them backwards by the way, will take you to, so it will take you actually to the one on research in general. So you're going to go to one that says all of these on research, and I'll talk about Pearl Trees when we talk about curation, and then you'll see this one where it talks about note-taking tools specifically. And within this is also websites and resources and posts that tell students how to be effective note takers. They have different kinds of note-taking as well, note-taking styles that you may not be aware of. So one of the notes, I'm going to show you one really quick. and this is not one of those, what do you call it? This is not one of those things where it's not a tech thing. But one way that they say Bill Gates takes notes is he takes the paper and he puts it in a quadrant. That's how he takes meeting notes and stuff. And he labels each of the quadrants. So within these Pearl trees is also things like that, like different ways of taking notes for your students and language learners to make it more effective for them and even for you as a as when you're doing research. So for example, if we were doing a presentation, then maybe we could do something on you know, if we think about a presentation and click the lecture, we can think a lot of times by reading the abstract what it could be about, and then on our notes we could put references, we could put quotes as one quadrant, we could put new ideas as one. So you're breaking it up into 4, and each of those quadrants is where you'll classify that particular note. So that's a better way of note taking. Well, according to Bill Gates, and he's a pretty smart guy. So, well, thank you so much for coming today. You can find all the links, including download your certificate if you go to this bit.ly address, bit.ly/ELT link. We have recordings of all of our hundreds of webinars, so you can go back and you can review and take notes.